What? What? Guys, welcome to 180 Drums. We have Daniel De Los Reyes. Is that too much? Too much pronunciation?
No,
perfect.
perfect.
We got this guy in the house, and today he's given us the breakdown. We're going to go through a 4, maybe even 5-part lesson series. We're kind of just rolling with the punches because this guy is a percussion master. You're on the road with who right now?
Right now I'm touring with Zac Brown Band.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. We're all fans. We freaked out when we knew that we were going to have Danny in here. And what we're doing is a real practical guide for drummers to begin taking a cajon, moving that out into the gig. So, man, thank you so much for coming in. So good to have you, man. So good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And Danny's been coming in despite the fact that, man, he has been grinding. He's been on the road. His body's tired, but he's making time for us, so we're super happy. Man.
Always. Thank you.
This is a custom cajon you got here, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk to us about this. First of all, tell us a little bit about what you're using, and then we'll get into like how to use it, how to make it really practical. So tell us about this instrument, man.
So this just came out recently, last year at the last NAMM, Winter NAMM. This is the company that I endorse is Gon Bops. This is my signature DDLR Gon Bops cajon. One of the main reasons why I came out with this is because I wanted something mainly not just for percussionists, for drummers to be something easy for them to when they go and do gigs that they can't not take a full drum set, they don't have enough inputs. You just take the cajon and you could basically have a nice little drum set, and it's not too hard. It's very, very easy to play. It's very light to carry. So I think they've done an incredible job of getting out what I wanted, my vision in the cajon.
Yeah, amazing. So I love that you shared that. Today we're going to be talking about technique. We're going to talk about all the types of different percussion elements you bring into the playing. But first, man, why don't you start by just giving us a little demo of this product? Show us maybe some of the different sounds that you're trying to emulate and how you created the drum set. Maybe use a couple of the extra items you got, and then we'll dive into like the technique, how you like to sit, the whole foundation. So start there, man.
So mimicking a drum set, obviously you have, kick, hi-hat, and snare.
Yeah.
And so this, because flamenco cajons have usually the wire inside that gives it the snare, or sometimes they have like an actual snare thing that's pressed up against the head. The old days, they just used to do it by loosening the front head a little bit so it rattled. Right.
Oh, okay.
That's how they used to do it. But most flamenco cajons have that already. So this started actually from another cajon that was a flamenco model, but we just kind of beefed it up and changed it a little bit. But anyway, so a bass drum, so here I didn't want it to be so that you hear like all the time, and you want a little bit obviously of it, and you don't want it to be where you have to hit it like that. No, you hit it soft. That's how you get the best tone out of it.
Yes.
So see that with the microphone is just, and if you want to tighten up the head a little bit, just put your heel up again, slant the cajon into the heel. So
nice.
Like versus right.
Yeah.
So it's a nice open tone, so basically that's your bass drum. So snare, I always judge it always like up here in this area, this corner, and I try not to,
Yes, yeah,
like a lot of times people, let me just play a cajon there. And
that's this guy over here.
So well, you don't want that.
Yes, absolutely.
You want finesse. So the whole thing is to. So this will be your, your ghost notes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, it's fairly easy. All you got to make sure that when you're starting a cajon, that you pay attention to the quality of the tone. And don't attack it so much like what I just said by diving just like Or a lot of times they do this. And it's just like hitting a cymbal or a drum set, and you just bang,
Right.
No, you want to try to get that sound out of the instrument. So, right, there you go. And then my second finger. If you want more fingers involved, so you get more of a bigger little snare, but usually it's like.
Wow, amazing how much sound you get out of that. Yeah, great. Okay, so this thing sounds amazing. First thing I want to talk about is that Gon Bops is agreed. So for everybody watching this is going to be a YouTube lesson. So everybody on YouTube, what's going on, guys? We're going to have another lesson that you guys can check out as well that is specifically put on for Regal Tip, where we're going to be talking about a bunch of products and accessories that you guys can grab there, check out. We're going to do a giveaway for that. In the meantime, this is your signature. First of all, we're going to say this is your signature Cajon. It sounds amazing, man.
Right.
It looks amazing. I know that might sound silly, but guys, your Cajon's got to look good. So we're actually going to give one of these away. Whoever's the most engaged, liking, commenting, sharing online. So guys, get at it. Let us know what your favorite part of this lesson is, what you enjoyed the most, and your biggest takeaway. I want to see a quote from Danny, a quote of your favorite moment, all right? So that's a really good foundation, man. Teach us, let's start from ground zero. Someone's never even played a Cajon. Now we know that flamenco Cajon means that there's that snare sound, right?
Right.
Okay, now teach us even something basic like sitting.
Exactly. Sitting is a lot of times you have people that just come and sit on the Cajon like a normal chair, and they'll sit like this with their behind right up to the edge of the thing. And so what happened is you have no room for being able to you can't do that. So what happens is you have to put your behind a good ways back so you can have the ability to be doing slanting it up and down, because that's what you want. You want to be able to constantly be adjusting, either from song to song or from rhythm to rhythm. So you have that ability of. So what I do is I leave the heel in the same place and I just bring down the Cajon. That's how I tighten
Changing
it.
the pitch
Right.
of all the notes, yeah.
See? So you want to be able to have that flexibility of doing this with the Cajon. The next thing is, subtlety, to be able to, again, like what I said earlier, don't try to just manhandle it and beat the heck out of it. You want to bring out the sound out of each Cajon. Hopefully it's this one that you own. But anyway, so sitting down is you want that ability and be gentle, be sensitive to that percussion instrument. So that's a good start right there.
Okay, so sitting as well, have you ever had back pain sitting on a Cajon? That might sound strange, but man, I had back pain at one point, and I think it was because I was doing that. I was leaning over the drum instead of bringing the drum to me.
Right. So if you're all night like this, you're going to have, because you're here and you're digging it forward. But like I said, if you...
Right, you look way more upright. You're bringing the drum
exactly.
to you. Got you.
Right.
Cool. Okay. And also, I would imagine that those bass notes would probably be a lot richer when you're leaning the Cajon back, because some of the drum is off the ground.
Exactly.
And then you're using that left foot heel to press into the head. So as you lean forward, you're applying that pressure with your heel to kind of change the pitch.
Exactly.
Brilliant, man.
Exactly.
And who are some people that really inspired you early on with Cajon?
With Cajon, man, now they've gotten so popular. It's like so many incredible players all over the world that are playing Cajon and in a level that's just over the top. But way back in the day when they first started becoming popular, I was traveling South America, and my good friend Alex Acuna, who's a brother to me, who's a great cajonero, I went to Peru and I asked him. There was somebody that I could see, and he said absolutely. So there was this gentleman by the name of Caitro Soto. Caitro Soto, yeah. And so I took a few lessons every time I would go to Peru, and I would go to his house and buy cajons, take lessons, hang out with him, and he's definitely an inspiration. I think more than anything, what I got from him was his spirit. He was just funny and always sharing food and all that kind of stuff. So we would sit down for hours and just laugh. But anyway, with him, I would have to say he's the main inspiration. That whenever I play cajon, I always have that memory of him smiling and sharing information with me. So.
And eating great food, man. What kind of food? I gotta ask. Would that be considered a Peruvian dish? Is that right?
Yeah, Peruvian, man. It's like anticuchos. Some people might.
Getting excited, man. I'm getting excited.
Well, it's just they Peruvian food is really really good because they have a lot of the criollo type of stuff, which is normally more towards the Caribbean, but at the same time they have a lot of seafood.
If you guys aren't right now choosing this moment as the moment to comment and say that this is your favorite moment, I mean, there's brownie points here for sure.
I have to admit, I mean, Peruvian food is one of my all-time favorites.
Cool.
The choclo, which is corn. Our corn over here is like this. Their corn over there is like this big, and it's purple sometimes, and it's just incredible. It's incredible. 180
cooking lessons coming to you guys.
Well, you know what? Music,
you're coming in too.
Percussion and food is. The whole music and food is very, very close related.
I wanted to ask you because I feel like it's really important for us to understand that the origin and the original purpose of these instruments is community, is culture, food is surrounding that. Like your first memory, when I asked you about Cajon and who inspired you, your first thing was a memory of someone who was a person to you. They were a mentor to you. They guided you through stuff.
Absolutely.
That's special, I think, to capture as we even begin to talk about how the Cajon can be really practical. So now let's switch gears. Tell us, man, we've got a bit of an understanding how to sit. What are some of the basic sounds? You already kind of ran through like a way we can get a really good snare sound and a bass sound.
Right.
I want to dig a little bit deeper. So with the bass sound, if someone was like, Jake, how do I get the low bass note that I want? Am I supposed to hold my hand a certain way?
Right.
What would you suggest for that?
That one it varies a little bit. It's hard to describe on a video. It's easier when you have the student next to you, so you can kind of see his hand, because everybody's hand is a little different. Mine are medium sized, but they're beefy little mitts, you know.
No kidding, yeah.
And so when you get that low tone, you want this area, the meatier part of the hand and the fingers, to be hitting. You don't want to leave your hand there. So
you're letting the palm and the meaty part of the hand and the fingers all hit at the same time lightly.
Exactly.
Okay. Because, dude, there's people that would kill to have an in-person lesson with you, obviously. But this is as close as a lot of people are going to get, man, ever to a percussion lesson. So that's really good to know. So it's kind of just you're trying to get as much of the surface area on the hand as possible. So
you want, for me, because I have developed from years and years and years of working out and playing, my hand is like a little hook. So it's hard for me to have it completely flat like this. And go, this is what you need to do, because it'd be so uncomfortable for me. But if I had that ability, I would do that more, so I could get also this part, which has a lot of meat on it. But for me right now, this part and a lot of this part right here is what's touching.
Right.
With mainly this part being the one that creates that low.
Yeah, that sounds phenomenal.
You know,
it sounds phenomenal because if you were hitting it too hard, you'd be pushing all the sustain out of the drum,
absolutely,
all the low end. Yeah, you'd just be smothering it.
You know, and one of the reasons is, which sometimes I have to do that. It all depends on the situation. You know, if you're not mic'd properly, and you know, especially if there's electric, you know, instruments, electric guitar going on, and they want you to play hard. I mean, I can, but what you do is exactly that. You're stifling, you're muffling the drum as you're hitting harder, but you have to do it because you just obviously people want to hear you, you know. So it's like, I mean, I'll hit it as hard as I can, or as hard as I would on a gig, all right?
Sure.
Just to let you hear. So. So,
come on, guys, come on.
But normally it would be. About that volume. So you have someplace to go.
Amazing. So, practically speaking, you want to get as much of your hand on there as possible for those bass notes, and you don't want to hit it too hard because you're right, like, you left that dynamic range that allowed you to go somewhere we needed to. What I've fallen into, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have, because we've been getting so many questions about percussion and about learning how to play cajon, and I think one of the biggest things that people are dealing with as well is probably just starting off in the wrong place dynamically and then not knowing where to go the rest of the gig because you've started too loud and maybe the sound's been adjusted to that. So that's really good. And then snare notes. Let's recap that really quickly because this is a really good foundation. And then I also want you to show us the one shot that you're using to use as a hi-hat. This is brilliant.
Okay.
Like, this is the most practical thing I think for all the guys in Nashville that, despite the fact some guys probably don't want to have to carry a cajon to a gig, they probably want to be playing kit. This is an amazing solution, man. So walk us through these snare notes real quick.
So the snare, I always end up going towards that top corner.
Yes.
You know? So let's just work on that. So remember, my hand's like a little hook. So you got that cup thing happening. So I use this corner.
Yes.
That's the reason why it's beveled like this, and there's a curve so it doesn't hurt.
And is it designed that way as well?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so you can kind of use it as your guide, you know.
Right.
So,
and you're letting the corner sit right in the very center of the palm of your hand. Gotcha.
Right there.
All right, great.
So
if you
right
guys got
there,
a cajon at home, like, you better be sitting on your cajon watching this lesson because it's best way you could get engaged. Okay.
So here's a basic slap, you know. Now, slap that's muted. Open. And that's using pretty much all the fingers, all the 4 fingers. So now,
now show us how far for everyone that can't, because I have such a great perspective. For everybody watching right there, just point to how far you're hitting down the cajon, where your fingers are actually making
so remember,
contact.
use this
Just
as your guide.
just that.
So,
oh, right. Yes.
depending on how your fingers are, you know, how long and the curvature. So you want a little cup like this, because if you do it flat, it'll sound kind of like...
Wow, the difference there is amazing.
Big difference,
yeah.
right? So now 3 fingers, just last, you know, 2 fingers, and then...
Okay, so you switch to your index off the side.
Exactly.
Cool.
So you want that variety of... Just that. So you can have...
oh, that's so amazing.
One finger, slap. It's your great triplets, you know. Different techniques. But basically, it's that you want that really good crispy slap, but you don't want to mute it either.
Yes.
All right. So open, slap, tone. Just work on those 2 sounds.
Yeah.
And again, not that.
Guys, we're going to head right into part 2 of this lesson. That is an amazing intro into this. And in the second part of this lesson, we're going to dive into more of the using the one shot. I know we said we're going to do it now, but I really want to jump in. There's so much we got to cover today, so let's jump in. So why don't you play us out, man? Play us a little demo on the way out.